Welcome to Mind Your Profit, where we unravel the scandals, headlines, and viral storms that build empires and burn them down. My name is Evans, and I'll be your guide through the financial shadows. Today, we're cracking open a case that's shaken the sports industry down to its core. Shannon Sharpe, NFL icon, podcast king, now staring down a $50 million lawsuit that could torch his legacy. From gridiron glory to courtroom chaos, we will dissect how one misstep can cost millions. Grab your notepad, this is Mind Your Profit, and the truth is our currency. The Sharpe saga isn't just another headline to scroll past. It's a high-stakes lesson on how private choices can unravel a public empire. We're diving deep into what happens when temptation takes hold, when self-control slips away, and when the life you've built starts to fray under the weight of your own decision. To understand how we got here, we need to know who Shannon Sharpe is to begin with. Now picture this, Savannah, Georgia, 1968. A kid grows up in a small town, raised by his grandmother in a house where hard work wasn't optional, it was survival. Shannon Sharpe wasn't born with a silver spoon. He was the underdog, the guy who had to claw his way to the top. Fast forward to the NFL, drafted in the 7th round by the Denver Broncos in 1990, Sharpe wasn't the obvious star. But through the grit and discipline and a motor that wouldn't quit, he became one of the greatest tight ends in history. 3 Super Bowl rings, 2 with the Broncos, 1 with the Baltimore Ravens, 8 Pro Bowl nods, over 10,000 receiving yards. By the time he retired in 2003, Sharpe was a Pro Football Hall of Famer, a name etched in gridiron lore. But Sharpe's story doesn't end on the field. Now this is where things get interesting. After hanging up the cleats, he reinvented himself as a media powerhouse. You've seen him on ESPN's First Take, trading barbs with Stephen A. Smith. You heard him on Club Shay Shay, his podcast that racked up millions of views, landing interviews with everyone from Cat Williams to Kevin Hart. And don't forget Nightcap, his show with Chad Ochocinco Johnson. By 2005, Sharpe's media empire is reportedly on the verge of a $100 million deal. This is a man who turned sweat into gold, who built a legacy on authenticity, charisma, and unrelenting hustle. And Sharpe's brand? It's all real talk. He's an uncle who keeps it real, the guy who calls it like he sees it. And that's one of the reasons why fans love him, especially the black audience who sees him as a role model, a symbol of what's possible when you stay true to yourself. But here's the thing about legacies, they're fragile. One misstep, one moment of weakness, and the empire you've built can start to crumble. And that brings us to the storm that currently is hitting Sharpe. April 2025, the sports world is buzzing with draft talk, but a bombshell drops and no one saw it coming. A woman filing under the pseudonym Jane Doe, later identified by Sharpe's team as Gabriella Zuniga, sued Shannon Sharpe for $50 million in a Nevada court. The allegations? Sexual assault, battery, coercion, emotional distress. The complaint paints a chilling picture of a nearly 2-year relationship that started consensual, but according to Doe, turned manipulative, controlling, and violent. Now, let's break it down. Doe says she met Sharpe in 2023 at a Los Angeles gym. She was 19, he was 54, a 35-year age gap. They started a relationship, rocky but consensual at first. Over time, Doe alleges Sharpe became obsessive. She claims he demanded control over her time and body, recorded their intimate moments without consent, and shared those videos with others. The most serious accusation comes from late 2024 and early 2025. 2 alleged rapes in October 2024 and another in 2025, where Doe says Sharpe ignored her pleas to stop. She's backed by high-profile attorney Tony Busby, who's released audio clips of Sharpe allegedly threatening to choke her.
If you said that one more time, I'm gonna choke the shit out of you when I see you.
Well, I don't want to be choked.
Yes, you do. I don't think you have a choice.
Now, this is where it gets messy, because Sharpe isn't staying quiet. He's fighting back, and he's fighting back hard. In a video on X, he calls the lawsuit a shakedown, accusing Doe and Busby of trying to extort him. His attorney, Lanny Davis, drops a bombshell of their own. Explicit text messages allegedly from Doe that paint a different picture. Messages like the ones you see right here and right here. Sharpe's team says these prove the relationship was consensual, filled with role-playing and mutual fantasies. They even claim Sharpe offered Doe $10 million to settle before the lawsuit, which she rejected. And then there's the Instagram Live incident. September 2024, Sharpe accidentally broadcast audio of himself in an intimate moment, not with Doe, but with another woman. He first claimed he was hacked, then admitted it was a mistake. Doe's lawsuit says this humiliated her, as Sharpe had promised exclusiveness. Sharpe's camp, they say it's irrelevant, just another attempt to smear him. Now, full disclosure, the facts are still unfolding. No criminal charges have been filed, and this is a civil case. We don't have the story yet, and both sides are spinning their narratives. But what we do know is this: Sharpe's reputation, his $100 million deal, and his legacy are on the line. And there's another wrinkle. A separate 2023 lawsuit from a woman named Michele Evans, who alleges Sharpe assaulted her in 2010 and doxed her later. Sharpe's team denies those claims too, but the pattern is raising eyebrows. Alright, now I want you guys to think about this. This isn't about picking sides or playing judge and jury. We're here to uncover the habits, mindsets, and money moves that make or break fortunes. So what can we learn from the Shannon Sharpe situation, even as the story's still developing? 3 big lessons: temptation, integrity, and mastering the flesh. Temptation is a trap. Sharpe is a celebrity, a man with fame, wealth, and influence. That comes with temptations most of us can't imagine: attention, flattery, and relationships that blur lines. The Bible says it best in Proverbs chapter 5, verse 3. The lips of a forbidden woman drip honey, but in the end, she is bitter as wormwood. Temptation feels sweet, but it can cut like a blade. Sharpe, at 54, entered a relationship with a 19-year-old girl. Consensual or not, that age gap screams risk. It's a power imbalance that invites scrutiny, especially when you're a public figure. Temptation doesn't just test your morals, it tests your judgment, and bad judgment can cost you everything. Lesson 2 is going to be integrity. Integrity is always going to be your armor. Sharpe built a brand on being real, but these allegations, true or not, is going to chip away at that trust. Integrity isn't about what you do when people are watching. It's about what you do when the cameras are off. If Sharpe's team is right and this is a shakedown, why was he in a position to be targeted? Why the explicit text messages, the recorded encounters, and the murky boundary? Integrity means setting standards that protect your name. It's saying, I won't cross that line because my legacy is worth more than a moment. Sharpe's empire is at risk because somewhere along the line, his private choices left him vulnerable. Lesson 3, mastering your flesh. See, the flesh, that's your impulses, your desires, your cravings. These can be your greatest enemy or your strongest ally. Sharpe's discipline in media and in the field made him a legend, but his personal choices suggest a lapse in controlling his impulses. The Instagram Live incident, where he broadcast an intimate moment, and explicit text messages in the lawsuit point to moments where desires outran wisdom. Mastering the flesh isn't about saying no to temptation. It's about rewiring your mind to prioritize long-term goals over short-term thrills. Self-control is the bedrock of wealth and legacy, because unchecked impulses don't just cost you money, they cost you peace and power. Let's talk stakes. Sharpe's not just fighting a lawsuit, he's fighting for his empire. His ESPN gig, he stepped away from First Take temporarily, but I'm pretty sure there's whispers swirling around that could be even shaky. His podcast deal, that $100 million contract we were talking about earlier, this whole situation can spook them away from having a sponsorship with him. His reputation, once fans start questioning your character, it's hard to win them back. And don't forget Michele Evans' lawsuit, another hit to his credibility. But the thing is that this just isn't about Sharpe, it's about you. Whether you're building a business, chasing a dream, or just trying to keep your head above water, your choices will matter. So how do you protect your profit and legacy at the same time? Set non-negotiable boundaries. Decide what's off limits, no matter how tempting. For Sharpe, that might have meant avoiding relationships with such massive age gaps or risky dynamics. For you, it could be saying no to shady deals, toxic partners, or late-night impulses that don't align with your goals. Audit your circle. I mean, who's in your corner? Sharpe's story shows how one relationship sparks a firestorm. Surround yourself with people who evaluate your standards, not exploit your weaknesses. And if you're famous, maybe skip the gym flirtations. Too many eyes are watching you all the time. And last but not least, own your mistakes. Sharpe's IG Live fiasco didn't help his case. First, he claimed a hack and then admitted the truth. Honesty is always going to be the best way to build trust, even if it stings. If you mess up, own it fast, fix it, and move on. Now, as I record this, Shannon Sharpe's story is far from over. Will he clear his name? Will the court side with Gabriella? Will the $100 million contract survive the fallout? We don't know just yet. But what we do know is this, that Shannon Sharpe's legacy, a tale of triumph over odds, is now a cautionary tale about temptation and self-control. He's vowed to fight, posted on X, my career is built on real talk and honesty, but honesty alone might not be enough to save him. For us, the lesson is clear. Your profit, your legacy, your future. They all start with mastering your mind and your body. Temptation will come, it's human. We're all gonna face it. But giving in without guardrails, that's a choice. And choices have consequences. Ones that can cost you millions, or more importantly, your peace. So what's your takeaway? How are you guarding your legacy against temptation? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and if you found value inside this case study, hit that like button, subscribe, and I'm gonna see you in the next one.